This episode is brought to you by Google Gemini. With the Gemini app, you can talk live and have a real-time conversation with an AI assistant. It's great for all kinds of things, like if you want to practice for an upcoming interview, ask for advice on things to do in a new city, or brainstorm creative ideas. And by the way, this script was actually read by Gemini. Download the Gemini app for iOS and Android today. Must be 18 plus to use Gemini Live.
What if you could hear your favorite song for the first time again? Introducing the all-new, reimagined Nissan Kicks. With an available Bose Personal Plus sound system that uses speakers in the headrest to create a 360-degree listening experience. You've never heard anything like this. Reimagine your music and your drive. Experience the all-new, reimagined Nissan Kicks for yourself at nissanusa.com today.
Available feature. Bose is a registered trademark of the Bose Corporation.
This is Optimal Work Daily. Start Creating and Share the Dang Thing by Anthony Ongaro of BreakTheTwitch.com. I often tell others that they should start creating something and put it out into the world. What we create can be anything. You can paint a mural, create a podcast, launch a product or service, start a blog, or write a book. Whatever it is, I believe that when we create and put something out there, it helps us and other people grow. While this sounds simple, anyone who has considered doing so probably has experienced the incredibly vulnerable feeling that comes with the act of creation. I recently got a great question from someone in the Break the Twitch community around this and have received similar questions in the past, and the questions really boil down to this. In a world full of content clutter, wouldn't my creation just be adding to the noise? What do I have to offer, and why would others care about what I have to say? I've had these exact feelings before, wondering if what I put out there will actually add any value. I ended up ignoring these thoughts and putting something out there anyway. Several years later, I'm glad I did, and I hope to encourage you to start creating as well. Why I think you should start creating and share the dang thing. 1. You have a unique perspective. Each one of us has a unique experience and perspective to share. Sharing your story, your background, and what you've learned from the experiences you've had can be a powerful way to connect with others who've had similar experiences. Even in a cluttered and noisy world, it's likely your perspective will be helpful to at least a few people. Maybe someone had a similar upbringing or is experiencing the same problem. Perhaps your personal challenges, what you view as a burden and disadvantage, can actually be a strength. This brings us to the next reason. 2. It may help change a life or more. While it can feel intimidating when you start creating and sharing, would it be worthwhile if it significantly helped one other person? At what point would it be worthwhile for you to step out of your comfort zone and keep on creating? Perhaps your unique experience can help more than a few people. It can help hundreds or more. For me, it took just one person. I still remember when I received a comment from someone saying that what I shared had been helpful. That was when I knew I needed to keep going. The same can happen for you. 3. You'll learn by doing. This, of course, depends on how you learn best. For me, and I think for most people, the best learning comes from actual hands-on experience. I never was good at memorizing information and taking tests. I learned from trying, failing, and trying until something started to work. It may not be the fastest way to learn, but that's what stuck for me. My personal motto is to make stuff so you can learn how to make stuff better. Start with what you have, and you'll learn how to improve and what else you need to know as you go along. 4. There's an internal benefit of clarity. One of the greatest benefits of creating and sharing something with the world is it forces you to clarify what might only exist in your mind. By putting something out there in the world, you're forced to write, describe, or portray how you're feeling and thinking. You're forced to have an opinion. When I first started this blog, I shared my own intentional journey and experience with minimalism. The act of blogging and making YouTube videos as I went along definitely enhanced my learning and opinions on the topic. But even if what you create doesn't get shared publicly, the act of making something is still beneficial for your own clarity and growth. 5. Sharing your creation creates conversations. The act of creating and sharing creates conversations. The content I put out there about why you should start creating prompted the question from Joe. The question I received from Joe then prompted this blog post and video, which will hopefully inspire more conversations. And that's what this is all about, all of us sharing, learning, and conversing together. 6. It's about letting go of the results. If you're inspired to create something, it's likely because it's somehow important to your journey. And the journey is all about the experience of learning and growth, not the results. When you create, let go of the result and be open to whatever happens after. You never know what's going to happen anyway, so why would you hinge your creations on specific outcomes? Start creating and putting something out there just because you want to do it. Don't worry about what other people may think or how many views or comments your creation gets. Really, it's up to us to start creating and put something out there. It's our obligation to create and share what we know in order to inspire others to create and share something. The act of creating is all about you, and at the same time, not about you at all. It's about your growth, the growth of others, and for the good of us all. So yes, for all the reasons I just stated and more, I do think you should start creating something. Start a blog, a podcast, or whatever you feel called to do. Just make the dang thing and share it with the world. You just listened to the post titled Start Creating and Share the Dang Thing by Anthony Ongaro of BreakTheTwitch.com. We're driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search. Match with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging. 93% of employers agree Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites. One of the things I love about Indeed is that it makes hiring all in one place so easy because Indeed's matching engine is constantly learning from your preferences. So the more you use Indeed, the better it gets. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/startup. Just go to Indeed.com/startup right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/startup. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
You know that feeling when you're at Ross and you find the best gifts for way less? Like brand name sweaters, the coolest kids' toys, and plush dog beds? Get that feeling with every gift and save 20 to 60% off other retailers' prices. At Ross, yes, for less.
And thanks to Anthony, he is a writer, a filmmaker, and creator. In his blog, Break the Twitch, Anthony writes about how to be more productive, build intentional habits, and own your attention. And by the way, if you're wondering about the phrase the twitch, he says that's any unproductive response to different types of discomfort, like checking your phone even though you just put it away, or agreeing to do something that you don't really have time to do. Anthony started researching, experimenting, and documenting ways to minimize distractions, build better habits, and tap into that elusive flow, that place where productivity is highest and where time seems to fly by without realizing it. And on Break the Twitch, he shares those ideas and discoveries. So thank you again to Anthony, and come by BreakTheTwitch.com for a lot more. But I think that does it for today's show. I thank you so much for being a subscriber. Hope you enjoyed our post from Anthony and have a great rest of your day. And I'll be back with you on Monday, and that's where your optimal life awaits.